When you connect all these dots, it always connects back into billionaire power, right at the top. I always like to connect it all through the corporations and who owns the corporations, the billionaires, and then using that power to corrupt the government. And it comes down to, I would say, this really pretty simple thing of that as long as we have a thoroughly corrupt government, we really are just not going to get these things fixed. And if we can get to that point where we have a government that's not completely corrupt, then you have the potential to fix all kinds of things. And so there's the question, right? How do we get there? How do we, obviously, at least in my opinion, no Democrat or Republican is going to get us there. That's it's a path that just doesn't lead to good progressive policies for the 99%. And so what I like to say with 11 demands and all that is that it's up to us. The only way this kind of the kind of real change that we need happens is if there's a big movement based on clear demands. And so if you go to 11demands.org, you can go to the 11 Demands Substack, and there's an article on there called An MCDS State of Mind that I just wanted to do a quick highlight on here. Being part of the 11 Demands Collective is a state of mind. It's about understanding the deep corruption in our politics, in our government, calling it out and organizing around a clear set of demands to fix it. And if you're wondering about those demands, on the 11demands.org site, you have the 11 Demands for Real Democracy that gets into the details of what these are and how we would get there. Crucial tool is the MCDS framework, Money Corruption Demand Solutions. If you put things in that framework, you can understand things. When we're talking about political issues, we need to center MCDS in these discussions. So here's some examples, right? You're talking about health. Our healthcare system sucks. Why? Because it revolves around money, not health. C, the corruption. The health insurance companies are corrupt entities that lobby the government to rig the system in their favor. You get to D, the demands. Don't ask for a compromise like Medicare for all. Demand healthcare for all. And the solution in this case is implement a United States healthcare system that covers everyone fully. You get another one, economy. The money. People are struggling to cover their basic needs as prices outpace wages. The C part of it, the corruption. Our economic system is controlled by a small number of corrupt oligarchs. Demand a system that benefits the 99%, not the top 0.1%. And if you look in the 11 demands, under a minimum standard of living for everyone on 11 demands, you see solutions that get into that. And so it's about applying this kind of framework and thinking to our issues and getting to solutions. You look at war, right? It's war, and more war. Why? Because this is crucial to understand why these wars are being fought. It's not about religion. It's not about ethnicity. It's not about protecting the little guy or whatnot. Wars mean more money for the military-industrial complex, that old MIC, the defense contractors like your Raytheon, your Boeing, your McDonnell Douglas, all these huge contractors that surround DC essentially, that are there in Northern Virginia. That's the real reason why these wars keep getting fought. It's for the profit that goes into these companies, and then that goes up to the billionaires who call the shots. Then you get to the C, the corruption. A bit of that money from those billionaires is then filtered back into our corrupt so-called government or representatives to keep the MIC, military-industrial complex, grift going. D, demand non-imperialist foreign policies in deep cuts to the U.S. military budgets. Demand peace. And then S, the solution, recognize that both political parties serve the war machine and no real solutions will come from them. So in closing here, it doesn't have to be like this. We can have a world that provides for the 99%, but it's up to us to make it happen. What can we do as individuals? Be the spark. Join the 11 Demands Collective. When discussing any major issue, use MCDS as a framework, use 11 demands and the solutions that flow from them to show the path forward. People are ready. Everyone knows that big money and corruption are running the show. It's up to us to inspire a mass movement that gets into the streets and does not let up until the demands of the 99% are met. As I referenced in here, the 11 Demands Collective, it's about trying to get ourselves together. And if what I'm saying, what's in 11 Demands sounds good, you can add your name to the list. It kind of functions like a petition. And the main thing is here we go. If you go to the pledge page, it's what does it mean to be a member of the 11 Demands Collective? It means educating people on the deep corruption. Always bring it to that money and corruption. Identify the problem that must be addressed. Big money in politics and government. Call out our so-called representatives of servants of the top 0.1% and demand revolutionary reforms. And then be clear about the solutions. Describe those solutions. You can find them in demand number 1. And spread the word about 11 Demands and MCDS. So there's what I would put out there as a theory of change. If we can get together in some real way around these kind of demands and spark this kind of a movement, I think real change is possible.